Get sales lessons from experts and entrepreneurs
Go out there and be the spokesperson and the representative for the brand.
on how you can bring your A game in selling.
Making sales requires putting yourself out there and being vulnerable.
To start and scale your business.
We need to negotiate for what we deserve.
This is Ace the Sales Podcast, and here's your host, Roshni Baronia.
I'm sure you would have heard from strategic advisors to take data-driven decisions, take an objective approach to building and growing a business. But what if I tell you to take a very contrarian approach, to take an intuitive approach to do business and sales? Hello there. Welcome to this exciting episode where I have with me Shraddha Subramaniam, who is India's first intuition expert and coach. I'm going to talk with her about tapping into power of intuitions so that you can take better business decisions and scale your sales. But before I bring her to the mic, a quick reminder to follow Ace the Sales on your podcast listening app, because when you do that, it helps us take this podcast and these valuable conversations to many more entrepreneurs just like yourself. And now, without further ado, let's bring our guest to the mic. Hey, hello, Shraddha. A very warm welcome to our podcast, Ace the Sales. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much, Roshni, for having me here.
I know it will be very challenging for you to tell about yourself in a very short or a brief manner, but as much as you can try, please tell a little bit about what you do in your business and so the listeners know what an amazing line of work you do.
Okay, so thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Shraddha Subramaniam. I am an award-winning business and executive coach, India's first intuition expert, an author and creator of Jackpot Method for businesses. That's my signature method where I help businesses to generate 10x in half the time they have planned for with lot of ease.
Awesome. I love the elevator pitch. Create 10x in under.
In half the time they have planned for.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm sure people will line up to know more about that. Before we get into learning from you a little bit more about intuition, how about we go a little behind the scenes with what you do and who you are, okay? So this is the segment we call BTS on ATS, behind the scenes on Ace the Sales, and a few rapid fire questions from you. Tell us one thing that we won't find or know from your profile on social media or website.
I love dancing.
Ooh, when am I getting to see the demo?
Anytime. I mean, I do it all the time, but it's not there anywhere on my profile.
Awesome, nice. Tell us one silly habit that you have which drives people around you crazy.
When it's time, I'm just like behind everybody. Like I'm so particular sometimes with stuff to be done. And then it somewhere people feel like, why are you getting so particular about it? And it doesn't happen over the day, but then as my night rituals, are near night rituals, it becomes like, okay, reminder to everybody. So sometimes the ease goes off then and you just want to finish the day and rest.
Yeah. Describe yourself in 3 words.
I am enough.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So now let's deep dive into learning from you a little bit more about intuitive way of doing business. Okay. So first of all, tell me what is intuition, like the Wikipedia definition or whatever it is. What is intuition and what is meant by putting this 2 and 2 together, intuition and business together? Explain to us this mixology.
Wow, that's a wonderful question. And that's the question I keep answering to all the business owners all the time, because I'll first go with the second half of the question before I come to what is intuition. Business is always considered to be logical. It's all a number game. It's all a mind game. It feels so much mechanical in its own way that you have to apply strategies and you have to keep on thinking forward. and you have, how do you go on hooking your clients and making sure that the sales are on, and it's like all the logical part of you that happens in the business. Now I say that any of this won't work unless you work your intuitions work. So intuitions is basically that foundation of you where you know that the sale is going to happen, where you know that any strategy would work. So the best of the strategies may not work if you are not aligned to your intuitions, to your own guidance. Lot of people do a lot of market research, surveys and past experiences. I always say there are two ways to decision making. Why decision making I'm talking about? Because in business all the time there is decision making. You are like on the, like every moment you are making decisions. So I want everybody to understand that there are two ways to decision making. Number one is through statistics. The statistics being market survey, researching, establishing strategies, your own past experiences that you have had, all of that. Because you will see, okay, last time I failed in this, so I may not want to attempt it. Like, that's also statistics, because you're bringing something from your past which may not be you at this moment, right? So you're bringing those statistics and you're bringing you yourself from that past in this present moment, which is not you in this moment because you have moved on. So when you are actually operating from the statistic space, everything, then you are not yourself, because there is always a fear. I don't know whether this strategy will work or not. I don't know whether I'll be able to capture the market or not. There's a lot of competition. I'm having a huge competition with people, and there are bigger players in the market. So there's always a comparison. There is a fear. There is always like, oh, hopefully I don't repeat the same mistake I did last time. So there's always that part which is always alive inside of you, which is putting you to brake rather than accelerate in your business.
So, what I hear you saying is that intuition is something that moves you from self doubt and confusion to alignment and conviction.
Correct. So the one part, as I said, two ways of decision making. One is through statistics, and the other is through intuitions. That's how you go on decision making. If you master that, nobody can beat you. You will not find, you will always have that blue ocean, irrespective of the fact you feel that there is all red ocean, there in the business. Everybody talks about that. Everything will be sorted, like you will be in your lane all the time, racing in your lane. You will be accelerating all the time. You will be guided all the time. And the more you will be aligned to yourself. So intuitions, I always call it as a guidance. And the guidance is not available outside. The guidance is available inside in this moment. And that guidance is completely in tune with who you are today. What are your capabilities today? What are your skills today? What are your strengths today? How are you going to show up in the world today in this moment? Not past, not future, but in the present. And that's the beauty of intuitions.
In fact, that was my one of the questions that of course you've opened up our mind to how it plays in the business scenario, right? The overall business decision making, daily business decision making. But if we talk about a sales scenario, because this is a sales podcast, how do you see intuition at play at work in a sales scenario when a person is going to sell his or her product, program, or service to their prospects? So, how does intuition work there?
It works beautifully well, because there are ways, and there are basically, your listeners can actually do some exercises to actually enhance their intuitions, and that's going to help them in their sales. So there are multiple techniques that they can use and apply. So one of them is like, if I hear the name Roshni, so maybe I'm going to meet Roshni today, and I'm going to pitch the sales conversation of whatever my product or service is. So my intuitions can guide me what kind of person Roshni is in advance, even before I'm going to meet Roshni. Yes, it's possible. And you can actually journal, you can actually, identify. Initially, there will be a hit and miss. Of course, it's going to be there. So I would say, okay, start with a person who is in acquaintance rather than a really unknown person. And don't go with known person, because you will have some layers only inside of you that I know this person very well, kind of. Okay, and then check with that person all the time, because that's how you'll come to know whether it is hit or a miss. So that's how you practice it. So you will come to know in advance. That's one space. There could be about a place you can go for that. Okay, you already walk into that place. Some of it we do it in visualization, but this is different from visualization where you're doing it with open eyes. You are just saying that I am walking into this space where I'm going to meet this person. We're having this conversation here. And now tell me whether there's a resistance out here in this space. I'm asking myself, is there any resistance in that space? And that is known. That is known. So basically, I always say that sales is easy, very easy, if you are tapped inside of you fully. If you're looking outwards all the time, that, oh God, what will they say? What is going to be the outcome? Will they like it or not like it? It brings a lot of anxiety, and all of that is budding up inside. But then when you know that, okay, fine, intuitively I feel that this is the kind of a person I want to work with. And I think by knowing their name, and also you can do it with a picture, someone's picture, like profile picture. You're going to meet them, looking at the picture, then you write that, okay, I feel that this person would be like this. Intuitively you start to enhance yourself. These are all the techniques that I teach in different ways in my workshops, in my coaching spaces, to my business owner clients.
This is so
Yeah.
interesting. This is so interesting that you say this, because in sales, in strategic sales, the way we approach any sales conversation or prospecting essentially is to research beforehand about your prospect, the person you are going to meet, right? So, of course, we are stalking that person, looking at their website and social media profile and LinkedIn profile, everything. So, yes, we do know the face of that person. But what you are saying is to add that layer of building an unseen connection before meeting that person with that person, as to just imagine what kind of a conversation you are having with them.
Correct. So that goes next. But before that, if you want to go with the name, with their picture, what you feel internally about this person? What are your intuitive hits? Those are coming. That, okay, this person would be like this. And then it will help you also to design your pitch. It's that, it takes you to that level that, okay, this person maybe would be like this intuitively when I'm tapping inside. So fine, now if this person is not logical, this person is not left brain, this is person who is creative, right brain person. So I'm not going to use the same pitch, right? Because I'm identifying with my intuitions that this person is going to be like that. And from that space, then when I do a pitch, it's at a very different level. It's at a very different level. And you would find that it's not a sales pitch then. So I always say it's a connection conversation. And in the first connection conversation itself, you're building a bond, and the conversion to a sale is always like that.
True, true. I agree to what you were saying, because, like, best of the sales experts also say that in any sales conversation, 80% of the time you are just connecting and building rapport with that prospect. It's just 20% of the last lap that you are just pitching or telling about your product, program, or service. So that's the ideal scenario. And you are just reinforcing and like validating that with the aspect of intuition. I love that. So, can you give us like very quick and easy to do 3 tips which people can do to tap into this intuition? Because it has, like you are saying, it has such beautiful outcomes in business, in a sales scenario. So, how can one tap into their intuition or intuitive power, as you say?
So first of all, I wouldn't suggest you do meditation, because a lot of people might feel, oh, if we meditate, we go in, but then that's not a cup of tea of everybody. I would just say wherever you are, the first simple bit that you can do is with your open eyes, just you can focus somewhere for 30 seconds. just with your open eyes. Just if you have a wall in front of you, look at the wall, look at the texture. You have not got deep into that space, so you can just do that. Or a very beautiful exercise could be any picture or anywhere that you focus for 30 seconds, maybe at the wall or wherever you're doing. After that, go and journal about it. What is it that is trying to tell you? That's a very brilliant exercise to help your intuitive self to express what is it trying to tell you, because we all have intuitions but we don't tap into it that easily. We don't have that extra ear which can listen to those intuitions very easily, right? We have the logical mind going on so much, around our ears, still our ears, like it's all covered with the logical space.
Hey there, hope you've been loving the episode so far. Just wanted to take a moment to invite you to Ace the Sales Club, which is a tribe of women small business owners who dream, dare, and do amazing stuff. If that's you, which I'm sure you are, just sign up for it from the link given in show notes, as every month we share with you tools and resources that can save you time, save you money, or help you make more money as a solopreneur. So sign up for the club from the link given in show notes. And now back to the episode. Yeah, exactly. Most of the time, it is the struggle of making sense of all the data information that is being thrown at us. And that's why people are having that decision fatigue. And it's a good alternate that you are saying, that focus for 30 seconds and then journal about what you are hearing from inside. Okay. And next.
So that's one exercise I always recommend. It gives so many beautiful results. Like, you will be told what is required. And it has happened with a lot of my clients. They come back and say, we didn't think of that looking at the wall, I could get the answer I wanted. Shraddha, this is magical. And I say, yes, intuitions are magical. So that's number one exercise that needs to be done. Number two, having to have, maybe when you are starting to tap into your intuitions, as I said, maybe 5 people as your prospect, possibly, because we're talking about sales here. So I'm just giving about the sales side of it, all of it. So the prospect, maybe what you can do is 5 people whom you're going to pitch in advance. Maybe take their names, just write the name on the top of the page, and just tell yourself, tell me about this person. And just start writing what I know about this person is. Start with that. What I know about this person is, and see what flows for you. And it will give you so much out of that. I'll tell you an interesting example. I'm digressing, but I want to mention that because it will create a lot of interest. So in one of my group coaching programs, when we did this exercise, so the group actually had done almost 6 to 7 sessions already with, and in the 8th session, I brought this exercise that do it for each other. Like, we were 4 or 5 people, do it for each other, and think about that, what this person is all about, and then write. There were things that they didn't knew about each other, but they could write. And there was a hit, 85 to 90% of hit about each other, which was not known, not discussed. So they knew as a group, they were working with me, but whatever they knew was only about the conversation in the group that we were doing. But there were things those came out which we had never discussed. Never ever. That I also didn't knew that those bits about them, like when I did this exercise with all of them, then they started to talk about each other. I think you love sweets, and the other person, how come you know that I love sweets? Like, that kind of small bits and things, those came up.
Oh wow, that's a beautiful way of selling. Actually, I can see, because it will leave such a big mark and impression and influence on a person when you are lining up things that they like, right? So they, and like in the 6 principles of creating influence with respect to sales, they say that people like working with similar choices, and similarity is a key aspect. I think what you are trying to say here is that When you tap into your intuitive power, you are able to identify that similarity and alignment with your prospects or potential clients or anyone who you want to work with in your business. And then it increases your chances of like bringing in that element of similarity. This is so beautiful. On the other side of it, has it ever happened with you or any of your clients or coaches that this intuition has not worked out? Because it will be good for our listeners to know both sides of the coin.
I get you. I get you completely. I won't say it has not worked out, but one example I can share where I feel it may not have that 100% hit. So sometimes it might happen that you know that the other person is upset about something, right? So that intuitively you understand, but the reason why that person is upset you might not know. Intuitively sometimes you have a 100% hit that the person is upset about this reason, but the reason might be something else. So this is a simple example I'm sharing, that if you think about where intuitions always work, nothing of that sort, as much as you tap in. I mean, I so believe in it that my whole life is like driven by intuition, so I can't think of out of alignment at the moment as you are asking me. But that is one example that showed up for me when you asked that it might not work, but at least you would know. Like sometimes we don't know and we keep on pressing other people in sales as well, right? So for example, the person is not responding, you have done the pitch and you are waiting for the results or the outcome or taking it to the next steps, and you keep on sending messages and you keep calling, and you start to feel that maybe the person is not interested.
So you still stay in the arena, and that intuitive power helps you do that, because when the other person is not responding, it definitely takes a toll emotionally as well as logically, that hey, they are not responding, so why should I bother?
Yeah, it goes in your head, no? Because I know of the greatest salespeople. They always say it hits us because we made the great pitch, our product is great, our services are great, this is how it is, and it hits us. So how do you not allow yourself to hit? Because that's going to have a ripple effect, Roshni, isn't it? Because today I'm feeling that okay, maybe I didn't do a good job and this person is not signing up with me or not going to work with me, and all of that is happening back of your mind. And then you're going to do the next pitch, which will be at a very different level than your own potential, right? And then the next person does that, and the next person does that, and the next person does that. You will be like under a lot of burden that maybe I'm not doing a good job. So this is an important aspect. Intuitively you can stay connected.
You have shared such beautiful concepts, and I'm sure it has opened up lots of possibilities for the listeners. But I'm interested and intrigued to know about, how did you discover this intuitive way of doing business, or how did you decide to get into the coaching space where you are playing around intuition? So we are now taking a segue into your your coaching business, but yeah, I'm intrigued to know.
Got it. Okay. So I think I have been intuitive from the time I know myself. So that intuitions is your sixth sense, your gut feeling, something inside that tells you that it's not right or it's great to go ahead, that kind of a feeling. So I always had that, like from the time I remember myself. I always had that. Coming to fast forward 2012, so because I am also a national level hurdle racer, and my life is a full circle. I always talk about that because then I was a hurdle racer, and today I help businesses to overcome their hurdles and generate massive expansion with it. So I feel that from the time my sports career was there, I was practicing. Coaching started for me at the age of 10 because I was coaching under a coach for sports and, all of that. So I think coaching has always been a part of me. So I worked in the IT for more than 15 years before I decided to be a coach. And that was not from a space where I was bored or I was not happy. I was literally happy because that was a different level altogether. But I discovered that I like to work with people rather than systems and code. I was already coaching people. So 2012, when I had cancer, it took me to a very different path. I was always positive. Being in sports, it felt always positive because I was already trained that there's nothing. You are the one. You have to make it happen, kind of. So I was not in any space of like that. But then why I still attracted cancer was always a question mark. Now I know, but then when it hit me, I realized that irrespective of the fact that I always was a positive person, a happy-go-lucky person, and into fitness all the time, but then still something of that to enter your zone, there is a big thing somewhere in the background which I might be carrying, and that manifested into that disease. Coming out of that, I realized that there are a lot of people who have stress. Everything is like big for them, like even a small thing is big for them. And nothing right or wrong, or not judging them, because everybody is built at a very different level through their journeys and through their experiences. And I realized that if someone who had been at a very different level from others, I always considered can go into that dip, then what might be happening to people who get the stress levels up high even when a small thing happens. So I think I should do something about it. And that's where I think it took a journey for me from 2012 onwards. I'm coaching actively to people, though I was still working, I was still coaching at my work, and different workshops I've done inside of my organization, training more than 250, 300 people, and literally like a corporate trainer. And a lot of people came to me after that. Even people with 25, 30 years of experience booked my time personally to talk about their challenges, because somewhere at that level it becomes lonely. You can't talk to your subordinates, to your peers, and to your boss, and all of that. So that's where it all started. Actually, that's where it all started. And 2016, after my daughter was born, and there was a lot that was like, I'm a committed person. So I always wanted to start on the coaching journey, even before she was born. But I think she brought a different perspective to my life, and as a mother, I learned a lot, like, because I have to start embracing so many things about me. So I started to work more on myself post 2016, because being a committed person, obviously you feel challenged, because at work also you want to show up 100% as a mother as well. And how do you be compassionate towards yourself when you're doing all of that, because you expect so much from yourself internally, right? So there's a lot of hustle, you're building yourself back physically after all of that. So there was a lot happening. So a lot of creativity I could feel around me with youngsters, because I was working, they were in 10, 12 standard with interior designing. So I could get different kinds of perspectives from the whole world, which I kept on gathering, which has helped me so much today in my coaching. So a lot of people say, you're very young, but then it feels like you have got like so much of experience as such. And I say, yes, because I went on gathering. I was not only like this, I was like always open. And the container has expanded so much, and it is expanding day on day. So that's where it all started. In 17, when I did my certification, I realized that I'm always already coaching so much, so many. From 2012 to 17, 5 years of coaching journey has already happened without me, telling myself that I am a coach. Then 2018, I took a sabbatical and I never went back. I published my first book, Circle of Perspective. That's there behind. And the whole journey actually shifted. I formed a company. Its name is Sparkling Soul. And now, when the pandemic happened, the business owners came into picture. The businesses were falling apart. People were not feeling that great. So I started to do a power conversation of 20 minutes with every business owner. It was like free conversation to give them a start wherever they are stuck. And I started to enjoy it like anything. Enjoy it like anything. And there's a personal story behind that. Now I realize why, because I say everything is connected in my life. When I was in 10th standard, I missed by fraction of seconds to get to the India camp. So that jersey mattered to me so much, but I missed that. So it felt like I couldn't contribute to my country. Until date, I still have that dream. Maybe I'll do it in a veteran category. I don't know, but that's there. It's going to be there, I'm sure. But then when I started to coach business owners, the MSMEs, SMEs, I started to realize that I am helping India's economic grow. Today, I've already coached so many. In hundreds, I've coached already. And I think it's a beautiful expansion. And I feel again the life has come to full circle, and I've entered the India camp now from this side, but I have made it. So I think that's where I feel completely connected, and intuitively that's my space. I belong to it, I feel.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, and wish you all the best. And I'm sure that the work that you are doing is contributing so beautifully and so massively to the journey of every business owner. And yeah, great. So just a last question, Shraddha, which we always ask all our guests is that, of course, you've shared so many good tips about intuition and sales, everything. And I feel women, especially, are gifted with this power of intuition. But any last message from you to women entrepreneurs who are listening to this show as to how they can fall in love with selling?
I always see sales as what is the benefit that the other person is going to get. Sales is not about you. Sales is about the benefit the other person is going to receive. So if you are fearful that how will I pitch, because again it's about you. So I want you to tune into, is it about you that you're going to talk about, or is it about them that you're going to talk about? And do the mirror exercise. Do the mirror exercise assuming they are on the other side and you are speaking to the mirror as a sales pitch, not about you, but about them. That's going to give you a lot of power to make sales a piece of cake.
Oh, wow, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for concluding our conversation today with such a beautiful tip and a message. And wishing you all the best, Shraddha. And it was lovely having you here. And thanks for sharing all the tips about intuitive way of business doing. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you found any value in today's episode, then remember to recommend Ace the Sales podcast to at least one of your business buddies. You never know what insight they will get that can help them in their business. So do some good karma today. Finally, a loud shout out and thank you to the production team of Done For You podcast who helped me in bringing this show to you. If you too are looking to start your podcast for the business, get in touch with DFIP from the link given in show notes. Join me in the next episode for yet another conversation that can help you fall in love with selling. Till then, take very good care of yourself. This is your host, Roshni Baronia, signing off.